Hey guys, welcome back to Big Texan Collects. It's been a while since I put myself in front of the camera, but I figured it was time for a switch up. And this video is going to be quick. It's just 3 items that I want to talk about. 2 of them we have to open. This is 3 individual eBay purchases that I made. I'm kind of all over the place on my collections, but of course, my main collecting is wrestling, and I seen this first piece. I seen CM Punk actually talk about this first piece, and it's actually his first action figure, wrestling figure, and he was talking about how he autographed it for someone. And so if you see some of my earlier videos, you'd see that I'm trying to collect some of the very first people in the line. So I got the first Brock Lesnar, the first Randy Orton, the first John Cena. Well, this is supposedly, and I'm getting this off of CM Punk, this is his first wrestling figure. Of course, it's branded the ECW. It's WWE's version of ECW, but it's a very cool figure. It's missing a lot of tattoos because this is back when they weren't really doing tattoos on figures. Plus, he had a couple tattoos that they couldn't put on the figures, like the Pepsi symbol. Now, this unfortunately was a failed version of ECW, and I think they could have, it could have worked in all reality, because they brought back all the major players. RVD, Sandman flew in there. Tommy Dreamer's on the back of this package. I think if they would have just let ECW be what ECW was in the past, it would have worked. But even CM Punk, he was good in ECW. When they started putting the Big Show in ECW, and other people like that, that's kind of when it killed itself. I think if Vince would have just left it alone and, let Paul Heyman run it, or, even RVD, since it was his idea to bring it back, it could have been a bigger brand than it was, and we could still probably have ECW today. But very cool to have his first figure in the line. Comes with some sort of like baking tray or something. Gets a little hardcore action going in there, I guess. But very cool. So this will be on my my shelf for all the first time figures. I'm not going to open that guy up. Eventually I might buy them loose too, because the other 3 that I've got them in the package, and then I also bought them loose. This next item I did not open yet, because these 2 boxes, the next 2 items, I literally just got in the mail today. I know what they are, and this one was a very cool purchase, because this is going back to the LJNs. It's a very small box, so it's not the big LJN figures, but it's a line that LJN did, and after this figure I just need 2 more. Love the bubble wrap. Love it when eBay sellers actually take care of the products, even though this one's not in the package. But it's the Macho Man thumb wrestler. So when it comes to LJNs, you had the thumb wrestlers, you had the little bitty guys, and then you had the big rubber guy versions. I'm trying to complete actually all 3 lines. I do have all of them for the shorter versions of the LJNs. Getting Macho Man is actually bringing me closer, but unfortunately it's getting me closer to the 2 most expensive ones, which is Jake the Snake Roberts and King Kong Bundy. Those could set you back a couple $100 a piece, and that's loose. But Macho Man, I won, and I was so excited to get him. And this eBay seller, he delivered him very quick. I was so happy with that. His paint still looks really good. on the glasses, on the knee pads, a little bit off the boots, but it's just amazing this thing is in such good condition, being the age. And literally it was played with on a thumb of a kid. And, you know, anytime a kid, no one knew to start collecting these things. But again, this brings me one step closer to finishing out the thumb wrestlers. So let's put that box to the side. Now this next one is a pretty big box. And normally, I don't collect this particular style of wrestlers. One, because there's so many of them. And two, my main thing to complete, my newest line that I completed was the Walmart exclusive Superstars. I've got 100% of all those except for the new ones that just dropped. I'm waiting for my Walmart to catch up. But then it's the Hasbros and the LJNs. But this particular set, because it's a box set, I didn't have any representation from a particular wrestler that I thought was very good, especially for his size, because most big guys are slow, methodical, you know. That's how I wrestle. I'm a big guy, so I wrestle slow and methodical, making all my stuff count. This guy, for being how big he was, everyone seemed to like him. Even though he was a heel, but they seemed to like him because he was able to move quick. There's no really good way to open this. He did a pretty good job taping this box up. Let's see if I can break into it on the side here. Oh, here we go. Maybe. I just don't want to cut into the package. All right, that should be enough. Okay, I'm just going to lift this camera up for just a second so you can see the box sets that I have up there. You know, the Four Horsemen, the Sting. But this one is going to go up there as well. But this is the special WWF edition 3-pack Ahmed Johnson. It's got Marc Mero, but the reason why I got it was for Yokozuna. Now, Yokozuna in this time period, they came out with two versions. They came out with this red pants one and a white pants one. I'm still going to look and probably purchase the white pants, but I seen this 3-pack. It wasn't very expensive of all. Matter of fact, the sticker price from, I'm going to put my cheaters on, from KB Toys is $19.99. I think I paid just a little over 20 bucks. So literally I paid for it today in 2026, back when this was first released. And this was back in 1997, Jakks Pacific. But yeah, this is very cool. It's a nice clean box. I only buy the sets when the box looks extremely well. And this is pretty minty. And there's not a rough corner on it. The face looks great. But looks like it comes with a couple two official ringside folding chairs for accessories. Now, Marc Mero, a great wrestler, wasn't a huge fan of him. Ahmed Johnson, I was a pretty good fan of his. He was just a big Billy badass, you know. And actually, when I was younger in my career, I stole his finisher. And I was using it. But now the name escapes me from what his finisher was. If you remember what his finisher was, just let me know in the comments. But this is very cool. It's nice seeing everyone on the back here. Hawk and Animal, Legion of Doom, the new Blackjacks. Man, I had all these grown up. Headbangers, Godwins, Sonny, Vince McMahon. I didn't have the referee though. You know, when you're playing with these as a kid, who needs a referee? You only had two hands. But very cool. I love that this is so minty. Definitely gonna probably start climbing up that window, since this window is pretty much all taken care of. But did you have these when you were growing up? I had most of these that show on the back, so it's very cool. And I've met most of these wrestlers. Savio Vega, Ken Shamrock. Man, that's very cool. All right, well, that was the three things I just wanted to show you guys that I purchased off of eBay. You know, most of the time I get my stuff from flea markets or thrift markets or toy shows. I love going to toy shows now. But every now and then, you got to keep your eye on eBay and pick up some things that, you know, are not very expensive. Like I said, this cost 20 bucks back in 97. I just paid, I think it was like 21, 22 in 2026. And now I got a representation of Yokozuna in my collection. Don't have the Hasbros yet. But thank you guys for tuning in. You know, if you want to give me a like or subscribe, everything helps, because it's still a very small channel. I'm just trying to spread the word of my collection, my wrestling matches. If you guys look, there's a whole bunch of wrestling matches on there, and some matches that I'm not even in. But thanks for tuning in. Until I see you again, have a good night.